Master trapper and tanner Tom Oar gained a huge following when he featured in History Channel's Mountain Men.
For over a decade, Tom Oar wasn't just a TV personality. He was the heartbeat of mountain men, a living symbol of grit, independence, and frontier wisdom. As cameras rolled, viewers tuned in not just to see survival skills or dramatic weather. They tuned in for Tom. His deeply authentic way of life captured hearts and stirred something primal in fans across the world. He lived without luxury, cut through modern distractions, and embraced the wild with unmatched grace. And then, seemingly overnight, he was gone. No dramatic farewell, no tribute episode, no official word, just silence. The sudden absence of Tom Oar left fans reeling. Was it health, a family emergency, or had something darker happened behind the scenes? Some whispered that producers didn't want the truth getting out. Others feared the worst. After all, Tom wasn't getting any younger, and the rigors of mountain life take a toll, no matter how seasoned you are. The real question became this: was his quiet exit part of a deeper, more personal story, one that had been unfolding for years right in front of our eyes? Let's rewind to where it all began. Mountain Men first aired in 2012 on the History Channel, offering a stark contrast to the polished, scripted reality shows dominating television at the time. It was raw, unfiltered, and centered around real people choosing to live by their own rules. Among a strong cast of modern-day survivalists, Tom stood out. There was something magnetic in his calm demeanor, his slow, deliberate way of moving through the world. He didn't just represent survival, he represented soul. Living deep in Montana's remote Yak River Valley with his wife Nancy, Tom embodied the very spirit of the wild. A former rodeo cowboy turned master tanner, he chose a life off the grid, building not just a home, but a world from scratch. Every meal hunted, every item crafted by hand, every moment lived deliberately. This wasn't a man pretending to be rugged. He was rugged. Alongside Nancy, whose presence was equally grounding and warm, Tom lived a love story rooted in resilience. The couple wasn't chasing fame. They were living a truth, one that resonated powerfully with millions. Their story began long before the cameras arrived. In the late 1970s, with little more than a dream and an old truck paid for with muskrat pelts, Tom and Nancy set out for the wilds of Montana. They didn't bring a map, just grit, trust, and each other. There they discovered the ancient technique of brain tanning, softening hides with the animal's own brain matter, a dying art that Tom would not only master, but help preserve for future generations. At frontier rendezvous gatherings, Tom's leatherwork became legendary. People didn't just buy his gear, they treated it like sacred pieces of forgotten history. Tom wasn't just surviving, he was building a legacy, preserving a way of life slipping through the cracks of modern culture. And through it all, Nancy was by his side, stitching, crafting, supporting. But life before the wilderness was no less intense. Tom was once a fierce competitor on the rodeo circuit, a man who risked it all every time he mounted a bucking bull. Born in Rockford, Illinois, Tom grew up surrounded by horses. He learned trick riding from his father, and by age 15, was hitchhiking to rodeos. The dust, the thrill, the danger, it became his identity. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, he was a regular in the top ranks of the International Rodeo Association. That high adrenaline world left its mark. In 1970, a brutal fall from a bull named Woolly Bugger left Tom seriously injured. Though he continued riding for several more years, something inside shifted. The rodeo had given him glory, but it wasn't where his heart truly belonged anymore. In 1981, he walked away, not out of defeat, but out of clarity. He was trading stadium lights for starlight. The wild was calling, louder than ever. Fast forward to Mountain Men's later seasons, and changes in Tom began to worry fans. The man who once outran storms and chopped firewood like a machine was slowing down. In one unforgettable episode during season 11, Tom began gasping for air in the middle of the night. This wasn't TV drama. It was real, raw fear. With no emergency services nearby, he and Nancy drove nearly 80 miles across a rough terrain to the nearest hospital. The diagnosis was serious: heart failure. His lungs were filling with fluid. Doctors fitted him with a heart monitor and a defibrillator vest. Constant reminders that even mountain legends have limits. But through it all, one thing never wavered. Nancy, her steady presence, her unshakable support, became the emotional anchor not just for Tom, but for viewers. Their love, tested by wilderness and time, now stood firm in the face of health scares. But Tom wasn't just facing physical limits. Another weight was bearing down: fame. With the show's rising popularity came swarms of fans, some respectful, others overwhelming. People from all over the world began visiting Tom's remote cabin unannounced. Some were simply curious. Others felt a deep emotional connection. But for Tom and Nancy, who had built their life around solitude, the attention was disorienting. One summer, it became so chaotic that even they, calm as ever, felt the stress. The constant knock at the door, the drone of voices, the quiet they'd once treasured was gone. Then in 2020, things took an eerie turn. A fake obituary for Tom began circulating online. It was detailed, convincing, and completely false, but it spread rapidly. Fans mourned, tributes poured in, some news outlets even reported it. The confusion was intensified by Tom's real medical issues and absence from recent episodes. Rumors swirled, and the line between fiction and reality blurred. But the truth? Tom Oar is alive. While his screen time may have dwindled, Tom continues to live his truth, moving between Montana and Florida. Retirement, however, is an uneasy fit for someone like Tom. As he once joked, "What do you do? Just sit there?" For a man who lived 80 years in constant motion, slowing down isn't easy. But with Nancy by his side and the quiet peace of Florida's softer climate, Tom has found moments of rest. Still, he hasn't let go of Montana completely. His bond with the land and with the past remains unbreakable. Even in semi-retirement, Tom's legacy lives on. His handmade gear is still sold through Willow Bend Trading Post, a business now run with the help of his family. His son, Chad, manages a thriving horse training center in Florida. His brother, Jack Oar, has appeared in over 20 episodes of Mountain Men, continuing to quietly support the family legacy. Together, they've built a brand rooted in craftsmanship and heritage, earning both respect and income. And while the world has changed around him, Tom Oar hasn't. He's stayed true to who he is, a man of principle, humility, and immense strength. His journey from rodeo arenas to mountain cabins, from hospital beds to handmade leather shops, is a reminder of something rare: that it is possible to live life your own way without compromise. Tom Oar's story isn't just one of survival, it's one of devotion to his family, to his craft, to the land, and above all, to a life of meaning. So whether he's hand-sewing moccasins in the Montana cold or sipping coffee in the Florida sun, one thing is certain: the mountain man lives on, quietly, proudly, authentically. What do you think of Tom Oar's remarkable journey? Let us know in the comments. And if stories like this move you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because some tales from the wild are too important to miss.